Hello, everybody. I'm Grey Warden Gaming. This is well, my name is David. My channel is Grey Warden Gaming. Like to talk about the fall of gaming today. Well, my opinions on the fall of gaming. I think it's personally falling off compared to what it used to be. And I thought I would just give out some opinions and stuff and see what everyone else thinks. I'd like comments and anything that anyone that wants to say anything. I would definitely like you to say your opinions. I'm not saying this to start arguments or anything, but definitely want a sociable debate at most. But I don't want people just hopping in here and being like, oh, well, your opinion's trash. I don't like your opinion. That's not what I believe. Opinions are opinions. It doesn't matter. Everyone's got one. So you have your opinion, I have mine. But this will basically be me describing my opinions and what I personally think is going on with gaming. Sorry about the radio. I thought it was off. I wasn't even paying attention. What I would like to start off with point-wise, the reason I think gaming is falling off and the reason gaming is failing is because gaming has went away from what, in my opinion, gaming has went away from what gaming was meant to be. Originally, when they made arcade machines and video games, actually, when the Nintendo and stuff came out, and the Game Boy and all that, games were made to entertain and have fun with. Yes, there were some challenges and stuff, and some games that were quite challenging, and those were meant to be fun, a fun type of challenge. Alright? So you got people back in the day playing like Mario and playing like Zelda and like Galactica back like on the arcade machines and stuff, and Pac-Man, Mrs. Pac-Man, Centipede. All those games were fun. They were for fun. They were entertaining to people. And that's what gaming was originally made for. It was to entertain the select people. Gaming has definitely blown up in community-wise over the years, especially with, streaming and different things like podcasts and people doing different things like that, and YouTube, Twitch, TikToking. Video gaming has blown up, and the type of people that play video games has also changed drastically. And what I mean by that is, originally, when you played video games, back in the day, you had a select few people you'd hang out with, and you weren't very sociable. Most of the time, people that went to the arcades were very unsociable. They went there to meet people like them, and then they might make friends. But then you also had the people that were the scoreboard hogs, I guess you could say, scoreboard hogs. And basically what they would do is they would make sure they had the best of the best score, and people would try to beat their score. It was a friendly competition. That's another thing that I think that the gaming community has definitely failed on nowadays. Friendly competition is meant to be in the games, but it is not friendly anymore. The community is not as friendly as it used to be, or anything like that. The community is more based around violence and stuff, and they get frustrated, and they have to have the best build and have the the best gear, every single item, and they got to be better than everyone else. That's a big thing I see in gaming nowadays. Is everyone's like, I'm better, I'm the best. If I'm not the best, I'm not good enough, and everything else. And that's not what gaming's about. Gaming's not about being the best. Gaming's not about sitting there and being, oh, if you're not running this build, you're wrong. Because that's wrong. Gaming is meant to be played how you want. Gaming is a way to express yourself and stuff like that. So, excuse me, how I see it is, when you are playing a video game, You are entitled to be able to play how you want to play, and no one can tell you you're wrong, because that's how you want to play. That is how you want to play. If people are going to be like, oh no, you're wrong because you play video games like this and you should play video games like this, that's not what video gaming is about. And I'm sick and tired of seeing videos of, in every video game, almost every video game with online, this is the best build to run. This is how you make the most money. This is how, you know, you could be the best of the best of the best. You know, it's all about that. It's not about having fun anymore half the time. And there's a lot of people out there that seek more thrill from making people's games miserable than just playing the game and having fun. Like, there are trolls out there, they troll people, and then there are hardcore people that abuse gaming, in my opinion. And what I mean by that is people that go into games and either they have issues in real life and they go and they take it out on people in video games and stuff like that, and they bully people in video games. And I'm not saying there ain't no, like, oh, friendly aggression that you can have. There is. I remember when I used to play video games back in the day when I first started playing multiplayer games. Like, I'd play a game and a dude would kill me and he'd teabag me, and then I would go and I'd kill him, he'd teabag me, and, you know, or I'd kill him and I'd teabag him, stuff like that. And you know what? Back in the day, that was just a common funny thing that people did. And, like, you could even make friends by doing that. I remember, like, when I was playing, like, the older Call of Duties, like Black Ops 1, 2, and even, like, Modern Warfare 1 and 2, the originals. You know, you could sit there and you could play a match, and you could wreck someone and talk trash to them. And instead of them getting upset about it and everything, you had certain people that would be like, oh, cool, this dude has the kind of attitude I like to hang around. You know, it's like a joking but trash-talking kind of play. And you have people that would sit there and be like, oh, cool, and then send you friend requests. Nowadays, you know, people just send friend requests for no reasons sometimes, I've noticed. Like, I get friend requests just by playing a game because they see that I'm playing a game. Not because, you know, they talk to me or anything like that or anything at all. It's just people just send random friend requests now. And there's people with so many friends in their list, and they don't play with them. Me, I was a big person playing with everyone in my list for the longest time. And then eventually it got to the point where I had so many friends on my list, I had to pick and choose. And I hated doing that because I personally don't like picking and choosing between friends, because in the end I feel like, okay, I'm the bad person here because I am not hanging out with this friend, but I'm hanging out with this friend. But at the same time, back in the day, people were a little more understanding. Nowadays, you say one wrong thing in a lobby and you got the whole lobby trash talking you. Or if you do bad at a video game, people now down you about it. You know, people used to try to help people and make people's experiences better. But I've noticed lately in games, people are just really hostile towards each other. And I'm not even talking about just like adults. I'm talking about, I've like loaded up in lobbies and video games and stuff, and I hear like younger kids, probably like 6, 7-year-olds, trash talking people and cussing them out and calling them trash. And I've heard people tell people to kill themselves and stuff. And I'm like, Jesus Christ, people, what is wrong with y'all? What happened to gaming, dude? For real. Like, I'm sitting here and I used to make friends and stuff in video games and enjoy my time, but everything is now changed to who's the best. If I'm not better than you, then I gotta get better than you. There is no, oh man, I'm not that great at this game, but I still have fun. It's crazy. Like, another thing that I personally think that's crazy is how when you used to play video games and you had people that used mics and people that didn't use mics. Well, now you have people that have mics on and all you hear is blaring music or fans. And it's like, if you're just going to have blaring music or fans and you're not talking to anyone, please just mute your mic. Because in the end, you're just blaring out randomness to everyone in the lobby. And I've also heard people have their mics on during arguments and stuff. And, you know, I've even heard people doing inappropriate stuff while in voice chat. And I'm just quite confused on how we went from video gaming and everything being like sacred to a degree and everyone being friendly and, you know, nice towards each other, and even the people that were mean, you know, normally you would play a couple matches and then they would either leave or leave you alone. But now you got people sending hate mail and everything else. It's just, I don't understand what's all the hate. When I play a video game, me personally, I just want to have fun. That's all I want. I don't play for competition. Yeah, I'm very competitive, so I'm not saying that I'm not. I'm very competitive. But me personally, when it comes down to it, I don't play games to be competitive. I play games for fun. So when I load up a game that is a competitive game, where it's like a shooter or, you know, something that's PvP based, I try to avoid those games nowadays because how people are, and they're like, if you're not the best, you're trash. If you lose to them once, or it's just people trash talk way too much nowadays, and it makes no sense. Like, why does you have to trash talk when someone's bad at a game? Maybe they don't have as much time as you do to play the game. Maybe they are going through something and they're struggling, or what? You know, there's all these different things that could go wrong for people, and that people have their own issues that you don't know about. And you go into video games and you're sitting there and you're destroying people just for fun, and then making fun of them when they struggle and everything, and just being a complete bully to people. That's just beyond wrong. Like, please be respectful to people when playing video games. There's a little bit of a line there that I'm okay with, and I understand being slightly like rude to people and stuff, and different stuff like that, and like trash talking like during video games. But then there's some people that are like literally just like, oh my gosh, you're trash, just end your life, or you're trash, just stop playing the game. And you may not know, but some people might be sitting there and they might be literally just struggling, man. They might be going through something really harsh or whatever, and you don't know. But you still judge people and treat people like trash just because they're not as good as you, they don't do what you want. And then I've noticed in other games that are like co-opable play, I've noticed people that just kick people instantly because they're not high enough level, or they don't have the stats, or they're not running the gear that they want you to run. Or say that you're playing a game where there's team killing allowed. Well, a person, say that there's operators in that game, and you pick the operator that someone else wanted, and then they team kill you. Instead of just being like, alright, well, maybe another game I'll get to play that character. Why do people gotta be so violent towards each other in video games nowadays? And a lot of people are like, well, the reason there's so much violence is because of video games. Not really. Like, video games can be violent. There are a lot of violent video games. But I don't think the root cause of all the violence that everyone's talking about is the video games. I think it's more or less that people take their anger and their abuse out on other people and make it difficult for other people to play. I play video games a lot. I'm not gonna lie, I play them a lot more. And I personally have moments where I get frustrated and I say things I don't mean, but normally I apologize afterwards if it is to a person, or normally I have my mic muted and I just muffle my sound and just talk to myself, basically. Like, if you're gonna sit there and talk trash to people, then either don't talk to people or be considerate afterwards. Like, I understand being frustrated. I do. But you don't gotta be mean to people directly. You can mute your mic, you can just say whatever you have to say then, and then unmute your mic once you're calmed down. Another thing is trolling gets taken too far in certain games. GTA is one of them. That's why I don't play in public lobbies. You know, the vehicle, the oppressor, and then you have jets and DeLoreans, and all these different vehicles that have rockets and they can fly around and they can blow you up in like one rocket and stuff. I understand playing and having fun, but then there's some people that take it too far. They kill you once, they kill you twice, and you're not even trying to kill them. You're just trying to play the game and walk around, rob grocery stores, do your side missions, do your setups for your like buildings and drug outlets and everything else, and then people are just destroying you over and over and over, and they don't let you even experience the game because they're too busy wanting to kill you, and they kill you over and over and over. And then if you tell them to stop, they're like, well, it's a skill issue, just kill me until, or whatever. I'm just like, no, it's not a skill issue. It's that person just doesn't have any interest in fighting you. They just want to do their own thing. And people are just sometimes way too violent towards other people. Call of Duty is another big thing I have against. Like, I used to love Call of Duty back in the day. But over time, it's just changed to the point where I'm in there and all I'm hearing is trash talk. I'm hearing people sit there and cuss each other out and call people different names, like inappropriate names and stuff. Okay? We don't need that in gaming. We don't need toxicity in gaming as much as there is. We need more kindness. We need people that play games for entertainment, to have fun. And people don't anymore. And it surprises me because games that I used to love to play, games that I used to really, really enjoy doing stuff in, I can't play that hardly any of them anymore for the very reason of how people play and how people act. Like Call of Duty, I used to love playing Call of Duty back in the day. One of my favorite franchises, actually. But over time, how people started playing it made it where I couldn't play it. Especially because, you know, I'm a married man, I have 2 kids, and a wife, alright? So, I got time that I'm spending with my wife and kids. I got time that I got for work. I work literally 5 days a week, 8 to 9 hour shifts. So I'm constantly busy in multiple ways. And I don't have the time or the effort to hop on a game every day and play that game only. Especially because I'm a type of gamer that I don't just sit there and want to play one game. I like to explore. I like to enjoy when I'm playing games. And just playing the same thing every single day, I don't really enjoy it. Which brings me to my next point. Call of Duty, Fortnite, Battlefield even. 90% of games that come out nowadays that are online all have what I think is the most annoying feature in video gaming. And that is, hands down, battle passes. Battle passes and seasonal content. I despise battle passes and seasonal content. And my reasoning for it is for the casual gamer. For the gamer that can't be on all the time. Stuff like that. right? So, think of it like this. I understand that the games need more money. They want more money. But with the game prices increasing nowadays, games I remember you used to be able to pick up games brand new for like $40. Then it went to 50 and then 60, and now they're up to $80. And then for the deluxes is like 90 sometimes. And you got all these games that are just overpriced, and most of the time they never get finished because you have seasonal content in it, and seasonal content forces people to have to play the game even when they don't want to, for the very reason that if they don't want to miss out on loot or items or gear or story even. Now, the reason I'm saying story is because I'm bringing up Destiny 2. Bungie, you goofed so hard on Bungie, dude, for real.
Calm down.
Literally,
You're making it worse.
Destiny 2 could have been so much more. When it first released, it was a phenomenal game. I loved Destiny 2. It was like Destiny 1 all over again. I enjoyed it and I loved it. But then you released a couple DLCs, and then you said, oh, we want to give people more room because this game's getting so big. It's getting so much content. It's so big now that, you know, we might as well just delete some DLCs to free up some room because people are complaining how big the game is. Well, not only did they delete DLCs from the game that people paid for, guess what they also did? They took out the original story that was in the game. The story that they defaultly put in the game. The one that was in the beta, the one that was in the game when it launched. And it wasn't like it was some side story they deleted. They deleted the literal main story, the Red War. They deleted it from the game. They took it out completely. And there's people that missed out on a phenomenal, amazing story. The Red War, honestly, was probably my favorite thing in all of Destiny. I really loved the idea of it. I really enjoyed the loss of power. Yeah, you reclaim it pretty fast. That was kind of disappointing. But the loss of power and having to deal without power, where you can't use your ghost and all that, that was phenomenal. I loved that. The whole plot of losing the light and losing the power and having to build back up and regain power and everything. It's just, I love the whole plot of it. I love the story. The dialogue was great. There was nothing in the Red War that I could complain about. Not off the top of my head. I can't think of a single thing. But many game companies have made mistakes. But Destiny 2 and other games, when they started involving seasonal content and battle passes, is when it started going downhill. And what I mean by that is because I remember playing video games back in the day with a couple of my buddies. And, you know, as soon as I graduated high school, some of them went to college, and they were gone for several months. Well, guess what? There was games that we played together that got battle passes and stuff, and they missed out on all that content. Well, you know, a lot of people would say, well, you just gotta make sure you log on. Well, what if you can't? What if you say that they don't have internet at the time, and they miss out on content? I think it's kind of unfair to people that don't have as much free time, that doesn't have the time to put into it. And then also, battle passes are not free. They are a paid expansion. Yes, you can get free items from them, but they are a paid thing. You only can get the premium, the best of the items, if you pay. And that's another issue I have, is because, like, okay, so now I have to pay however much for this battle pass that I will only have a limited time to complete. If I do not complete it in that time limit, technically that money that I spent is gone to waste. Because I didn't get all the money's worth out of that battle pass because I didn't complete all the challenges or I didn't get all the XP I needed. And that's frustrating. Because, me personally, I am a completionist. I like to complete everything. I like to have every item. I like to have all the cosmetics, all the weapons, every single thing in the game. I like platinuming games. I like enjoying 100% of the game. I like to enjoy everything in it. I don't want to sit there and worry about not being able to enjoy my game because there's a battle pass, a season pass, or nowadays the games don't even come with the full content anymore. They don't even get released anymore with the game complete. There's a lot of games that they release and then guess what? Later they would do like 30 patches just to get the game to where it can run properly because they're releasing them too fast. And Call of Duty jumps on the worst bandwagon ever where they got to release a Call of Duty almost every single year. I wish they would stop pumping out quantity and start pumping out quality. For real, because I remember the original Call of Duties. I mean, Call of Duty Finest Hour, Call of Duty Big Red 1, Call of Duty 3, Call of Duty World at War, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 1, 2, 3, Black Ops, Black Ops 2, those Call of Duties had quality. They had a good multiplayer. For the ones that have multiplayer, they had a great story. In my opinion, they had great stories. Phenomenal, great stories. And then when they brought in Zombies is hands down my favorite and most fun that I've ever had in video gaming with other people. It's such a good experience. I met a lot of people, a lot of friends. I met a lot of people that frustrated me, but still ended up somehow making friends on it. You know, there's all these different scenarios. But Zombies is one of those games that I could always play and have fun. Call of Duty, Zombies nowadays, it went off track of what was fun. Because another thing, and I'm going to bring up, and this shoots right back at Call of Duty, the attachment sliding changes. And what I mean is, I remember movement used to be, you couldn't even jump in combat most of the time in the earlier Call of Duties. You was just running around. And then, like, also, like, I'm sorry for saying like so much. I really am. It's just me trying to process this out. I don't have a script written or anything. This is just me going off the top of my head and doing stuff like that. But, like, I did it again, sorry. When you sit there and you have slide dodging and slide momentum, and guns do more damage when sliding, and you can sit there and you can be locked right onto a person's chest, shoot them in the chest, but because they're sliding, you're doing only partial damage. Or a person that's doing crouching up and down, you're only doing like partial damage. But that person just slid around a corner and one-shotted you, and it doesn't seem like it's Call of Duty anymore at that point. It seems like it's a different type of game because it's not militarized shooting anymore like it was. You got operators now, like, for real, Nicki Minaj, an operator. You got freaking, I'm pretty sure Mr. Beast is an operator. Nothing on Mr. Beast. Mr. Beast is cool and all. But what I'm saying is, like, it went from you playing Call of Duty and you having classes, per se. Technically, you can classify them as classes. You had Ghost. You had the one that wore flak jacket. Yeah, you had the freaking Assault that allowed you to have a second primary and all the different things like that. That stuff is what I miss. I don't like the operator system because that's another way for that company to make money. And that's all good for them. I understand they need to make money. But they go to the point where they're releasing outrageously, in my opinion, stupid skins for just money. That's all they're wanting from it, and people are eating it up and keeping that trend going. I know it's not going to stop overnight, but me personally, I think if people just stop paying into this stuff and be like, hey, we would like to return gaming to how it was. No more battle passes, seasonal content. We would like to be able to play games when we want to and not have to worry about anything. But you just can't. It's just all difficult. Like, if the gaming community would try to get back to what it was, that would be great. But at the same time, a lot of people like the new type of gaming, and that's fine. It is fine. I may not like it, and a lot of people may not like it, but people like what they like. People enjoy what they enjoy. But me personally, with all the hostility and all the seasonal content and all the different things like that just seem to, in my opinion, take away from the experience of me playing a game. I have more fun when I'm not on a time limit, when I'm not pressed to do things that I don't want to do. I like to have freedom when playing a video game, to do what I want, when I want, how I want, and the only issue with what's going on is if I am, like, bad enough at the game that I can't do what I need to do. Or even, say, like, challenges in video games and stuff. You know, the challenge runs that people do. That's cool. It's entertaining. I think that's a cool thing. But then people always complain that games aren't hard enough. They complain that games are too easy or there's not enough. Well, if gaming is only supposed to be difficult, it's only supposed to be competitive, then why was gaming, like RPGs and story-driven games, like, even invented? Because those games are relaxing. You know, those games are, like, really cool, and I enjoy stuff like that. But nonetheless, I think battle passes and seasonal content has ruined gaming. I think the attitudes that people portray in video games nowadays ruin the experience for others. I personally think that gaming is just going downhill, and there's not much that can be done about it. And I know that, because there's too much. It's already at the point of no return, I think. People are gonna keep paying for all these battle passes. They're gonna keep buying skins. They're gonna keep buying content, because why would anyone want to do anything else except pay for stuff that should have been in the game originally? Pay for stuff that, if they did add it, they could just release like a DLC pack down the road, kind of like how the older games used to do. Like, oh, well, we released more content, now there's a special edition, or a deluxe edition, or a gold edition, or whatever, and add that content there, and then you just have to buy that DLC then, and then you would have all the content. And you wouldn't have to be on a time frame. All you'd have to do is buy the content. You wouldn't miss out. Missing out on content sucks. It really does. Especially when you really want something, you put in the time and effort, and you still can't get it in time because you don't have enough time. That is frustrating. That is upsetting. And for me, being one of those people that I have to get everything, it makes video gaming a struggle a lot of times, for the very reason that I'm sitting there and I can't get what I need or what I want because of It's, oh, there's 18 days left on the battle pass, and I have 10 challenges I need to complete where I need to get 800 kills, and I can only average out about 10 to 15 kills a match. And then people are like, well, it's a skill issue. No, it's a time issue. You know, if you're supposed to get like 400 or 500 kills a match, which normally no one can in most video games, it's fairly highly unlikely. But just like in general, I think like the average old Call of Duty matches, like the highest you'd see someone on the board was like 15 and 10 or 15 and 0 or whatever, maybe 20 some kills. And then now you got people running the lobbies that are getting like 30 plus kills. That's cool, you know? That's cool that you've upped it to where people can get more kills and do more stuff. That's all fine and dandy. But still, my issue with gaming is coming down to the point that they don't make video games that you could anymore, hardly, that you can just buy and you have everything unlockable. Not saying it's unlocked instantly, but unlockable by just playing the game, and you don't have a time limit on it. No seasons, no battle passes, just play the game, enjoy the game. That's what I miss. I really do, because like one of my favorite games to play, First Descendants. Not gonna lie, it's my favorite shooter at the moment. Looter shooter, I guess you could say. On my other account, not my Grey Warden, but my main account, the one I play on a daily when I do play, and the one I put in most of my effort on. Ironically, not the one that I do my YouTubing off of. I started a new YouTube channel because I wanted to do something and get a trend going of me playing games and teaching people how to play games, and you know, trying to talk to people and figure out why gaming is falling and try to bring back the good gaming. And so my main account, I have like almost like 600 and some hours total into First Descendants, and I haven't spent a single dollar in that game. Not a single dollar. I've never had a battle pass because you'd have to buy the battle passes. So I never had one of the battle passes. I love the skins they released in that game. I really would love to have them, but I can't, for the very reason that I would have to pay money to get a battle pass to unlock skins. I would have to pay actual money to get these skins. And I don't want to pay to get stuff. I would like to earn all my stuff, which is what I did in First Descendants. I earned 100% of what I have in there is 100% earned. Every single character that has maxed out every like catalysts and energy activators, every gun that I have maxed out, that is 100% earned. I didn't pay for any of it. I didn't cheat for any of it. Nothing. I just 100%ed, grinded my tail off in that game. And then they finally did what I was asking for the longest time. They started releasing Descendant slots. Because that was my biggest issue, is I had hardly any Descendants. You had the default starting, I think it was like 10, or maybe 8 or 9. I can't remember what it started at. It's been so long. But you had the starter Descendant slots. So you got regular Descendants and Ultimate Descendants, okay? So you unlock the regular Descendant, and then say there's an Ultimate Descendant variant, you could trade them out. But also, to unlock originally when the game came out, it was really grindy. And I mean really, really grindy. A lot of my friends refused to play the game with me because they said it was too much of a grind. I liked the grind, personally. Now, I will say the RNG chance that originally was there was totally bullcrap. Because, you know, I could sit there and I would farm up the resources and everything and just need one item out of this random amorphous material and could never get it because there was only like a 7% drop rate or 6% drop rate. So I was frustrated that I couldn't get it, but I stuck through, and now they have a guaranteed loot system. They now have given Descendant slots out, and all the stuff that I was frustrated about at the game, they have fixed in time. I will say that they have done a very, very good job on First Descendants. But I constantly, when I'm watching videos of people talk about the game, they're either saying that the content is too hard or too easy. And that's one thing I'm afraid of hearing, because if people are sitting there talking about it, and if the game developers are like, oh, well, people are thinking it's too hard or too easy, then it's going to change the content up eventually. Me personally, I think the game is challenging if, and only if, you are running a Descendant that is not maxed out, you're running a low-level character with low-tier guns. That makes it complicated. That makes it difficult to do things. I will say, and some of the in-game content, like the bosses and stuff in the Void, are freaking. If you don't have a certain build, you get destroyed within seconds, and then the other people that are relying on you are now frustrated because you just got destroyed in one hit. And the in-game content is harder for players that are not fully built. That, people that play and do different things, but they can't get what they need done because the grind hasn't been that good for them, or whatever that it actually is. And me personally, knowing that I've grinded every Descendant that I have and every gun that I have and everything else, like, I know the amount of time and effort it takes. I know the frustration of it. All that. I know it. I've dealt with it. I've been through it. And I stuck through it. And it paid off in the end. I will say, once you get a Descendant maxed out, like I have Serena, and I fully catalyzed her out, I have the Enduring Legacy fully maxed out, and just between that gun and that character, I can wreck a lot of things that I wouldn't be able to do otherwise. Now, there are certain characters that I 100% see other people wreck with, and I'm like, how? But then when I play as that character and I build them, I can never build them right, I guess, because... Excuse me. A little bit of acid reflux. Ugh. But because I'll sit there and I'll play, and I'll see people wreck as, like, characters like Ajax and stuff. And I built Ajax. I built Ultimate Ajax as well. And I could never figure out exactly how to get them built to make them as good as people were using them, because I'm like seeing people just run around using one ability and wrecking people, and I was like, man, I would love to be able to do that. But that's how Serena is for me. I built her, and she's destroys everything. And then, like, one of my favorite characters, Lepic. I used to have a build for him where I could wreck bosses and stuff, but I don't know if he got a major nerf, or maybe those modules I use don't work like they used to or whatever, but it's just frustrating that characters that I used to really enjoy playing, I can't play them anymore because they're not as good as I once were. But that's probably enough of that game. Let's talk about another topic that I would like to address. And it is the price increases for video gaming. 100% frustrating. Like, I get frustrated with seeing games that I'm like, oh, cool, that's awesome, that's about to come out, I can't wait to play it, and then I see that the price increase on the game is, oh, it's coming out at $70, $80. And I'm like, I don't want to pay $70, $80 for a game that I won't have 100% time to play. But, like, why did games gotta be that expensive? They weren't that expensive back in the day. Why are they gotta be that expensive now? It's because everything has went from being about entertainment and fun to it's all now about how can we make the most money? How can we get the most for our money? And people just eat it up. They do whatever needs to be done to get this game, and as long as people are willing to pay it, they're gonna keep doing it. But I don't know. Just in my opinion, it's ridiculous. And another thing, you know, people will complain about video games being too difficult and too easy. It may not be that easy or difficult for certain people. So, when you're sitting there and saying it's too difficult, it gets to the point where some people play a video game and then they have to stop because guess what? It is now actually too difficult for them because you ended up sitting there and being like, oh, this game's too difficult, let's complain about it until the company does something about it, and then they do something about it, and then the people get screwed over.
Somebody help him! Alex, puto! Where you gonna go?
I don't know. Me personally, I just think that gaming is going downhill, and there's nothing we can do about it, in my opinion. No matter how much I would like to change it and fix the issue, I don't think it's going to happen. And that's just the point I'd like to bring up.
Take over!
I just wish gaming would go back to its roots, where it was all about fun, entertainment, and you could play a game and have fun and have nothing to worry about. I'm getting wrecked right now.
Piece of shit! Fucking animal. I hate to quit this.
I don't know, guys. That's just my opinion, and it, as I said, it's just an opinion. I just think gaming's gonna fail, and there's no way to fix it or get back to its roots without excessive amounts of change. Games are getting to the point where they're really expensive. And then I heard the thing, and I don't even know how true it is. It's just something I heard about GTA 6, and it automatically threw if it is true, it automatically threw me out of getting the game. Because I heard a rumor, I think it's a rumor, I have not proved or not proven the fact that I have heard that Rockstar wants to make the game, for how much time you're going to play is how much they're wanting you to spend. So the game's going to be incredibly expensive because they want you to pay the amount of time that you're going to be spending on the game. And me personally,
Nice.
I can understand
Now
they
keep
want
your
the
mouth
most
shut
for
about
their
me,
money.
hear?
But at the same time, in my opinion, it, as the game creators, it is their job to entertain us and not force us to pay an outrageous amount of money just for one game that, if we do spend that money and get it, you know, we just spent a crap ton of money, and it's just like, okay, I play this game. Guess what? Now there's bugs, there's crashes. The game was not fully produced. I'm not saying that'll happen, but I've played plenty of games that released, and they did not get released at full capacity, I guess you could say. They had to go through and redo and add updates left and right to video games. Dropping a game before it's ready is wrong. I understand for hype reasons, but if you know the game's not ready, don't release it. I personally think that if we could just go back to, not everything's a competition, not everything is like, the most important thing is competition and being the best of the best. If we can get away from that and get away from battle passes and season passes and pay to play content. Now, for free to play games, I'm 100% okay with it. That makes 100% sense, and I'm 100% cool with it.
Whatever.
But when it comes to games that are already $60, $70, $80, even $50, and then they have battle passes and seasons, and you have to pay more money on top of the money you already spent, that's when I'm like, okay, I gotta draw a line here, for real.
You better not sue me. I've got the best Jewish lawyers in Liberty City. Every time.
And if people could stop treating people like trash in video games, that's another thing that I think would change it back to making gaming great again. Because I don't want to load up in a lobby and constantly hear trash talking. It gets annoying. Honestly, just play a game for fun. Just play it for fun. And if the only way you seek fun is by hurting people, then you're wrong, and you should seek other ways of playing, or play single player games where you can destroy and murder the NPCs all you want and not have any issues. Because bullying people in video games is what sways people from playing certain video games. Like, I have a friend, and he's been my best friend forever, and he don't play shooters anymore because he automatically has no confidence in playing them anymore, because he instantly says, well, I'm not good at shooters anymore, you know, I die too much, I'm not good at shooters, and everything else, because people said he's trash, people say that he's not good at the game, and then he does bad, and then he thinks he is as well, because he's hearing it, and he's not doing good, so he automatically believes it himself. And I hate seeing him like that, because I used to play Call of Duty with him, and other games like Battlefield, and he doesn't want to play them anymore. He won't even attempt to play them anymore just because he's scared. I'm not scared, I guess, no confidence in being able to do what needs to be done and have fun in a game. You know, he sits there and he's just like, man, I can't do it automatically before even trying, and it's just frustrating because people can do a lot when they put their mind to it, and it is a total mind game. It really is. Because I know that, you know, when I think that I'm doing bad at a game and I'm sitting there and I'm like, I'm terrible at this game, my performance goes down. Hands down. A confident player doesn't always make you a good player, but it makes it a lot easier to be good. A negative, non-confident player normally does bad because they're automatically downing themselves that they have the capability, the potential to do what needs to be done. And that's not always 100% on them. Sometimes it's because how people treat them when they play video games, and how people talk down to them when they make a mistake, and they make them feel really bad about it. You know, if people are going to just bully people in video games and make video gaming not fun for certain people, I just feel like it defeats the purpose of what gaming was. Gaming was a way to relax and bring yourself some entertainment, first in the arcades, then at home, and there is some competition, that's fine. But where everything is a competition, you have to be best of the best. People have to sit there and ruin your games because they want to just destroy you just for fun and make you feel miserable. That stuff is wrong. If you just want to make someone miserable and that's the whole point of you playing a game, honestly, you shouldn't be playing that game. Because that's just not right. You know, unless they invent a game called Troll Simulator and that's the whole point of the game, that would make sense. But, like, just destroying and being very rude and, I guess, verbally abusing people is wrong, and you shouldn't do it. But, as I said, this is all just opinions, my opinions, and a lot of people will probably disagree with my opinions, and that is fine. But, like I said, everyone's got an opinion, everyone's entitled to their opinion, and everyone's opinion should be respected in my mind. Even if you don't agree with it, you should still respect someone's opinion. Yeah, I don't know, this might just some people that just may think I'm just complaining. And then in their mind, they're like, well, you're just not good at the game, and that's why you're complaining. You know, I'm not complaining. I'm not. It sounds like it. To a degree, I guess you could classify it as complaining, but I'm discussing why I think gaming is going downhill. I'm discussing why I think that the things that I value most in games are no longer in games. And another issue that I have is with gaming now, RPG wise, is even getting frustrating. Like, open world games when I was younger was, you know, okay, open world games, but now open world games are just huge, and I mean huge, and some people are like, yeah, that's what we wanted. Me personally, when a game is too big and it takes too long to travel, and there is such thing as too big in my opinion when it comes to map size and when it comes to content in open world. Because I've noticed a lot of games are making huge maps and having little filler in their worlds. Little bit of filler here, a little bit of filler there, but nothing concrete, nothing to make it like, oh wow, this is awesome, this is this is the whole point of me exploring.
What's up, brother? Anything for you, dog? No. You don't want to be caught dead wearing that.
And then this is my last and final point. I'll probably wrap up the video after this. But forcing people in video games to have to buy stuff to get, like in Call of Duty and stuff, like a lot of people say it's only cosmetics, but I noticed that in Call of Duty and stuff, those attachments and stuff actually make a huge difference. And some of those guns and stuff you get through those packs that they got, those operator packs, are really, really, really broken. And they do destroy people way easier than certain guns. And I've also noticed that Call of Duty, and when it comes to attachments and stuff, they went away from what attachments used to be. And they implemented all these, I guess, in my opinion, useless stuff for attachments. So originally, when you put a suppressor on your gun in a Call of Duty, it nerfed your damage slightly, but made your gun suppressed where it's silent. Okay? People couldn't hear it, and you didn't show up on minimap when your gun went off. Made that I was cool with. You put a scope on your gun originally, it just made it to where you could see better. Plain and simple. You can see farther. You know, laser sight used to help you aim. A foregrip used to just give you stability when shooting. But now I look at attachments in Call of Duty and video games in general, and I'm seeing literally, you put this scope on, you're losing range and damage, and you're losing accuracy, and I'm just like, it makes zero sense to me. It makes zero sense. Like, why in the heck does a scope nerf the range of your weapon / the accuracy? Why is that a thing? Why? It makes zero sense. Why does me putting an extended mag on my gun make it where... I understand a longer reload, maybe. I understand that. But, like, I'm not saying these are the exact examples, but these are just, like, a for instance example. You got it where it's, like, extended mag. Oh, well, your fire rate's now slower, or your accuracy is now crap because you have a extended mag. And then there's these little useless perks that are randomly on the attachments that are in Call of Duty now, and it's just annoying. It's very annoying. And like, you can sit there and play a match.
Tell me what you see. Turismo classic, right? Wrong.
With these attachments that someone's using the same attachments as you, but you're doing different damage. Why does guns and attachments, if you're running the same thing as someone else, why is it that your damage is different? People say it's latency. What if you have really good internet and you're looking at latency and you don't have hardly any latency, but then you're getting wrecked?
You ain't even ready for this.
It just doesn't make sense to me.
Let's go.
I just think attachments and stuff, when they don't do what I think they should, and as I said, this is just an opinion, so I may be wrong. They might do it for realism, I guess, maybe. Maybe, I'm not sure. I'm not a gun expert by any means. Maybe by putting these attachments on, they noticed that that's how they do in real life.
So how's it feeling? Pretty tight, huh? Don't be shy.
I'm not
now.
sure.
Let her show you what she can do.
How I let her show me what she could do. It didn't work out. I cannot take this turn, Hal. Also, and this is actually, I'm on GTA on this one. I'm actually going to bring this up because I've noticed it. When I used to play this on PS3, the driving was polished. I thought the driving was phenomenal. Yeah, you got in a vehicle and you went too fast, the game would start glitching out. I understand that. You know, it couldn't process it, hinder it. But the vehicles nowadays are squirrely. You have, like, barely any control at all times. You can sit there and I've seen people, like, the best drivers, like that. I didn't even hit anything and it spun out. Like, why do you have to make it where NPCs run into you on purpose?
You check them shifts? New custom transmission, slicker than slick. Trust me.
And how vehicles spin out for no reason. You don't even hit anything. You take a turn and you just spin out. A lot of times I'm just using my brake all the time because you can't just drive like you used to. Like, I'm spinning out and I'm not even hitting anything. The vehicles just whip too hard now, and they in my opinion, it feels like they're glitching all the time. I know they're not, but how they swapped up the driving in GTA frustrates me because I used to really enjoy racing and stuff, but now I can't even get behind racing because I'm 100% garbage at it now because of how the driving has changed. Like, I'm sitting here struggling to do this one little challenge, which this car is really fast and I'm having to apply the brakes constantly, but I'm also spinning out constantly too. And I don't know. I just, how they changed it. And then another thing, the shooting in GTA 5 changed. I remember back in the day when it came to NPC fighting and even player fighting, you could use the joystick to flick between enemies, and the accuracy was on perfect condition, dude. Like, you could sit there and destroy people in PvP because of that flick, and they took that out and everything else, and then they changed up how everything is. It seems like, at least in my opinion, from what I used to play to what I play now, it seems like the content is like 100% different when it comes to it. And NPCs now, they do way too much damage in my opinion. They have too much health. You know, there's sometimes you'll shoot them directly in the heart and you're like, excuse me, why are you not dead? Or you shoot them in the head. I've seen people live headshots. I'm like, what? How? How are you still alive? I just blew your brains out with a shotgun, a sniper, assault rifle, whatever. A headshot should be an instant kill in any vehicle, in any video game. At least in my opinion. Because, and if you're wearing a helmet, I can understand living one bullet to the head. But besides that, I just don't know, man. I think the shooting went off track in my opinion, and I struggle to fight NPCs from time to.
Get ready to feel some G's.
And then how Rockstar, I think even Rockstar admitted it in a video or a conference or something, how they actually make it where the NPCs and stuff will run into you. Or at least that's what I was told. I might be wrong on that. That might not be a true fact. I might be wrong. But, like, supposedly the NPCs directly try to run into you from time to time. And I'm like, why make that a mechanic? Why add a feature where the NPCs are going to try running into you to make everything you're doing more difficult? And then some people are like, well, it's obvious they did it to make it more difficult. And I was like, well, in my mind, to make something more difficult, you could do other things besides making random cars run into you for no reason. Instead of making the driving insanely difficult by making it squirrely as heck, you know, there's other things you can do, but apparently not. They chose these features, and, you know, that's what they chose, so that's what it is. But I will say that there's so much to do in GTA 5 Online, and I do really enjoy that. I just kind of miss the old days of racing and stuff, but as I said, with how cars play out now, and even some of the combat and stuff, it's very difficult to do combat sometimes, like PvP and stuff. I can't hardly do it anymore.
Just wait till you find it straight and open up. You driving the revolution, yo.
It's just crazy, man. From what it used to be to what it is now, it's just 100% crazy. But I will say that, in my opinion, the worst thing about GTA 5, in my opinion, is the driving now. From what it used to be to what it is now, 100%. The driving is terrible now. Like, I don't think I'm gonna finish this thing. Like, I know where Cyber Flats is, and I don't think I'm gonna make it, not in this time limit. But also, I don't know how many dots are left either.
Now put it all together and let it take you someplace. Serious. If you're driving something with that HSW badge, the only limitation in that car is you.
Apparently. Ooh! I somehow made it. Wow. I can't believe I did that. That's awesome. Cool. Got a special work upgrade. What do you gotta say, Hal?
Hey, that was some driving. Soon as I post that time and it starts trending, I'm gonna have a line running around the block. We at the crest of the wave here, my friend. And as of right now, you got the t-shirt. Tell your friends I run the shop over at the LS Car Meet. Only place in town to get the Hal special treatment. Long as you got a membership and you bring me the right kind of ride, we're in business. Except the first time. That makeover is all on me. See you down there.
Nice. So I get a free makeover at Hal's.
Wait, I thought I'd have another opportunity to present my proposal.
Learn something every day.
Whatever. But I have a phenomenal presentation package. Frankly, I think you'll be blown away. Honestly, you haven't seen my best work, and I really
Alright,
like another
everyone.
chance to...
I think I'm gonna hop off for the night. Hope y'all enjoyed. If not, that's all good. If y'all don't mind when you do watch this video, if you could throw on a like or a comment. I would like constructive criticism. If I'm not doing something right, I'm not doing something entertaining, I would like y'all to throw that in the comments so I can try to improve as a YouTuber and try to improve myself. If I'm making crap content, I would like to know. If I'm not doing up to standards or a par of what you would like, then I would like to know, because I don't want to sit here and keep pushing and putting out content and playing games and putting in effort to make content, and I'm not pulling in any, I ain't pulling any views, I'm not pulling in any, I guess you could say, subscribers. or pulling in anyone that actually wants to watch my content. I personally would like to build people into watching my content, but I can't become good for the community if I don't have someone telling me what I'm doing wrong. And I'm not asking for someone to be like, dude, you're trash, or your videos suck. I want people to be like, alright, you're not really selling me on it, man. You're kind of boring, or whatever it is. I would just like something like that. Constructive criticism. Be like, hey, this is what you're doing, and you need to probably do something else. Do something like that. Oh my goodness. What is happening to the map right now? Y'all seeing that? That was crazy. Let's turn around and see what's still going on. What is going on? That is weird. But if you can leave a comment, you don't have to subscribe. I'm not asking for subscriptions. If you want to, I appreciate it. Everything helps. But I definitely would like a like on the video if you can, and a comment if you think I'm doing good or not. And if you can give me any advice, I will take any advice I can get. I will take, as long as you're not just criticizing me to criticize me, and you're actually just being like, hey, this is not good quality. I think if you maybe did something else, it would be better, or tried something different, because what you're doing right now is not really working out too well. Something like that, something that's not trying to push me down and shut me down, just like, hey, I understand you're trying, but you need to improve on some stuff. That's all I'm asking, is people to throw in a comment, something like that. And, like I said, don't subscribe if you don't want to subscribe. If you want to subscribe, I really do appreciate it. And if you do pop up in my chats while I'm playing or live streaming, I will try to 100% talk to you. Sometimes I get really distracted by the game and I miss it, but that's why I turned on voice narrating, so it does narrate it, so I pay attention to that. So I'll try to answer everyone's comments when it comes down to it, and if you do leave a comment, I want to look at all the comments. I want to see everything that everyone has to say, and I will respond to all comments as much as I can. Like, I will look at it. I look at my channel probably once every day. And if I start seeing people commenting and putting effort into contacting and talking to me, I might check it more than once a day, because then it's like, okay, I now have a reason to look at it more than once a day. And me personally, I love gaming. It's one of my favorite things to do. I have a passion for it, and I like showing people my experiences of games, because in my opinion, how I experience games is very unique compared to a lot of other people, especially when it comes to RPGs. I get lost in RPGs, and I mean lost. Like, and I'm not talking about like, oh, I can't find my way, but I'm talking about like, it's like one of those things you see on TikTok or on a meme or whatever. It's like, oh, cool. When I started playing the Skyrim, alright, 6 o'clock. Alright, cool. Looks at phone again. Ah, it's only 6:30. Cool, I'll play for a little bit longer. Looks at phone again. Ah, crap, it's 1 in the morning. That's how committed I get to some RPGs and stuff. I really get into it. I really enjoy it. It's something I do enjoy. And I want people to be able to see and enjoy gaming like I do. And if you don't want to enjoy it like I do, that is fine. As I said, it's like I said, opinions are opinions. Everyone has them. So as long as you're not sitting there and just criticizing me and shaming me, then I'm 100% with whatever you say. I'm okay with it. But Without any further ado, I think I'm going to go because I think at this point I am long-winding myself and probably over-talking, and it's probably getting annoying at this point. I might be wrong, but we'll see what I can do in the future. And any comments, likes, and subscription would definitely help. I appreciate any effort that anyone puts in. Thank you all, and have a nice night.